the Young, and the Restless spoilers. Victor Newman stood alone in the grand office of Newman Enterprises, a place that once buzzed with power and influence. He had been at the helm of many victories, but now, one by one, those close to him had drifted away. His empire was still vast, but without the loyalty of his children, it felt fragile. With every decision, every battle, Victor had always been surrounded by allies, whether it was his family or his trusted confidants. Now, as the weight of his recent failures pressed heavily on his shoulders, he realized there was no one left standing by his side. The legendary tycoon had faced challenges before, but this one was different. Billy Abbott had positioned himself strongly at Chancellor Industries, and Victor had plans to take him down, but the task seemed daunting without the force of his family behind him. In his desperation, Victor decided to summon his children back into the fold, hoping to restore the Newman family's dominance once again. Nick, however, was in no place to help. He had been spending most of his time with Sharon, his former wife, who had been going through a difficult time. She needed him, and Nick's focus had shifted entirely to her well-being. Sharon was dealing with her mental health struggles, and Nick felt guilty for not being more present in her life earlier. Because of this, Nick wasn't ready to engage in another one of his father's ruthless schemes. He politely declined Victor's request, knowing his heart wasn't in corporate warfare. That left Victoria, who was available, yet cautious. Over the years, she had learned well from her father's manipulative ways and had seen the destruction he could cause when he put his mind to something. While she had long admired Victor's strength, she also knew working alongside him often came at a personal cost. Victoria hesitated, though she didn't always agree with Billy Abbott, her ex-husband, she still harbored some respect for him. After all, they shared a history, a family, and most importantly, she didn't relish the idea of engaging in a power struggle that would jeopardize his career. However, Victor's plan wasn't just about Billy, it was about control. He wanted Victoria to lead the charge against Chancellor Industries, to take over Chancellor Abbott, the company Billy now led. Victor's reasoning was clear: with Billy out of the picture, Chancellor would fall, and the Newmans would once again reign supreme. But Victor underestimated his daughter's true motivations. Victoria, always a strategist in her own right, found herself intrigued, not by the opportunity to defeat Billy, but by the chance to finally conquer Phyllis Summers, a longtime rival. Phyllis had a way of getting under Victoria's skin. Her unpredictability and cunning nature made her a dangerous player in Genoa City, and Victoria had long wanted to see her fall. If taking down Billy meant gaining control of Chancellor and simultaneously weakening Phyllis, then maybe, just maybe, it was a battle worth fighting. But what about Billy? He was, after all, her ex-husband, and they had shared more than just boardroom battles, they shared love, pain, and a family. Deep down, Victoria knew that her thirst for victory, her desire to beat Phyllis, could unintentionally hurt Billy in the process. But this was business, and she'd learned from the best, feelings had no place in these games. Yet, there was a part of her that questioned if she could truly bring herself to harm him, especially when Billy had made it clear that his ambitions at Chancellor were important to him. While Phyllis was basking in the success of her latest ventures, she too was caught up in her tangled web of emotions with Billy. Their relationship had always been tumultuous, but recently, they had found a strange sense of harmony. Phyllis enjoyed the thrill of her new projects, but there was always something between her and Billy, an undeniable chemistry that she couldn't shake. She was drawn to him, but as always, her ambitions and desire for independence came first. Did she love him? Perhaps. But in Phyllis's mind, her work and her independence were what mattered most. If love came, it would be on her terms, and she wasn't sure if Billy was willing to wait. Meanwhile, Nick, torn between his lingering feelings for Phyllis and his obligation to Sharon, was filled with jealousy. He had expected Phyllis to wait for him, to remain loyal while he dealt with Sharon's crisis, but she hadn't. Instead, Phyllis had moved on, and Nick found himself wrestling with the bitter taste of his own hypocrisy. He had chosen Sharon, yet the thought of Phyllis turning her attention back to Billy, his longtime rival, stung more than he was willing to admit. He was angry at Phyllis for not waiting, but deep down, he knew he had no right to feel that way. After all, he had made his own choices, and Phyllis had every right to move forward with her life.